Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Tuesday, the 31st day of January, 2023, the last day of January in 2023. It is also Tuesday of the fourth week in Ordinary Time, the fourth week of the year. And today we remember St. John Bosco, the basically apostle to youth, one of the great figures within our church's history, who ministered primarily to youth, opening up the wonder of faith to them and encouraging faith to grow in their lives. So it's appropriate to remember him, especially during this Catholic Schools Week, as this is date for the full second day of Catholic Schools Week, in which we honor our students. It was Pajama Day this morning at morning prayer. It is also Donut Day, kind of in honor of me, I like to say. But it's also the 100th day of school. And so I was given stickers to wear. So it's our 100th day of school already. Can't believe we've already made it to 100 days here in this school year. Coming to you from the courtyard, again, the statue of St. Francis and Gubbio here right after morning prayer this morning. So on this second day of Catholic Schools Week, John Bosco, celebrating him, celebrating our students, we continue to hear again that the letter to the Hebrews is incredibly long. And so we've been hearing from it almost from the beginning of the year. So still got a little bit more to do. And the place where the writer of the letter to the Hebrews goes today is again in this whole perseverance and persecution, perseverance through our own faults and failings, perseverance through all of the mistakes that we make and everything that we might suffer as people, not to let that get in the way of faith being able to grow, of faith being able to become something that is not only profitable to us, but profitable to the world, to allow the world to see itself differently. We are not to let, those things that we fail at, the things that we fall down around, the things that just are not right in our lives, get in the way of what is possible, of what we can be. Too many times we take a look at sin, we take a look at the mistakes that we make, we take a look at the burdens that we live in our lives, and we think that those are all obstacles to being able to live, our life to its fullest and live our life as faithfully as possible. And then we frustrate ourselves because we really can never get rid of those, can never get away from those. Remember, it's always in our faults and failings that we learn about ourselves. We learn to know what it is that we can and cannot do, where we are challenged, where we need to grow, and what it is, in fact, that we are capable of doing, and how all of that can contribute to a growth in faith. The writer of the letter to the Hebrews basically encourages the people in this way, and telling them that basically those who went before us also suffered the same kinds of challenges and doubts and whatever it is, and yet they persevered. The same thing can be true of us if we remember their example, and remember and know that there is a God who is constantly guiding us through it all. In the gospel today, we have a very long gospel from Mark today. It is not necessarily complicated, but it's sort of broken up. It's the daughter of Jairus, a synagogue official, who is sick and dying, and he asks Jesus for help, and Jesus says, let's go. As he goes, though, the story breaks, and there is a woman with a hemorrhage who wants to be healed, and she touches Jesus' cloak, and healing power, it says, leaves him, and she is cured. And it is her faith that cures her, and rather than being scolded by Jesus, he praises her for having that kind of faith. Returns the story of the sick daughter of Jairus, and she has died, and everybody's weeping. And this is where, again, Jesus, comes in a seemingly insensitive way and says, why is everybody weeping and mourning? The child is not dead, she is only asleep. And they begin to really get angry at him and say, how could you be so insensitive, and all these other kinds of things. But Jesus knows what's going on, and he raises the girl, and that whole Hebrew Aramaic phrase, talitha koum, which means little girl, get up, and she does. And Jesus basically says, give her something to eat and have life go on as it was. The one thing that needs to stick out to us, again, we can let death seem like such a finality in our lives, and our weeping and our mourning, while true and real and necessary, can never be the last word for us. When those who we love go beyond us into the life to come, it is not something to let sorrow shift away from the truth that life continues, from the truth that if there is a God, and there is a God indeed, this God allows this life to move and to blossom to even more. Life is not wasted. Life is not thrown away. Life is not ended, never to be experienced again, but life moves into something more powerful and more wonderful and more glorious than even we can imagine here on this level of existence. That should give us hope. That should give us courage always in the face of adversity and the challenges, that get in the way of us trying to live lives that are filled with Christ, that are filled with Christ's love, are filled with forgiveness, are filled with hope. Let us always remember, again, that ours is a God of life, who always searches to give us life to its fullest and allows us to embrace that life in how we live and act in this world. And may the Lord give you his peace.